Well, hello and welcome to this Christian Walk podcast, the show where no topic is too taboo to empower you on your walk with God. I'm your host, Marley B, and it is my pleasure to invite you back to the conversation. We made it to season 2. Thank you to my fans that supported in season 1. You guys were patient with us, you grew with us, and you rocked with us. Thank you for all your subscriptions. Thank you for all your likes, all your shares on YouTube. And I got a surprise for you. You can now hear us on Apple Music as well as my iHeart Radio. I was going to say my Heart Radio. Maybe not yet, but soon, right? But thank you so much for your support. Continue to listen on all formats. And continue to like, continue to share, and continue to come and join the conversation. But right now, I brought 2 special guests to open up season 2 officially with me. Right, number 1 here is a favorite that has been here. This is your 3rd time, right, Bo?
Third time.
All right, 3rd time. He is holding the record for our most frequent and beloved guest. Give it up for Bodie. Welcome back, Bodie, with us.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. And here for the first time is my very good friend, my soul sister, Miss Javon Goodman.
Hello, everyone.
But affectionately known as Miss J.
Yes.
Right? So today we are going to be talking about a topic that Bo and I started back in episode 1.
Yeah.
Right? When he just wanted to bust out talking about tithing and why he didn't like it then. But I put a pin in it. I told him, I was like, I got somebody else I want you to talk to about that. And I got her here. So we're going to talk about tithing today. Right? Even just as recent as last year, there was this preacher in Chicago, Clarence Smith Jr.
That's the video you sent me?
No, this was a different guy.
Okay.
And he got caught embezzling over $800,000 in funds that were collected to feed hungry children in a very poverty-stricken neighborhood in Chicago. And he was walking around there with fresh Jordans, had a Bentley, had embezzled this money, and it's been indicted for the charges, and now it's pretty much playing MIA. You know, things like this is why the tithes conversation is something that's always wrapped in controversy and just resentment when it comes to people who look at the church, because they think when they give the church, they give into some shysty preacher. And because of that, a lot of people don't like to give. So that's why this is important for us to have this conversation today. Because remember, we're not giving to man, we're giving to God. And even though we're going to keep it real, that it's some people out there that are doing dirty with the church's money, it is not everybody. Right? And so because we know that, and we're going to stand on what we're doing for God, this conversation is more important than ever. So because of that, let's get into it right now.
Walk with me, talk with me. What you know about God? Will He ride with me? Come and open my eyes for me. Hear my story. Show me more what's in store. And once more, listen, homie, can you walk?
So it was this lady, and she was teaching her daughter how to make a roast. And you cut off this end of the roast, you cut off this end of the roast. You do all your seasoning and everything, pop it in the oven and go. That girl or that daughter taught her daughter the same thing. So I think it got to maybe like the 3rd generation down. And like, well, why are we cutting off this end of the meat here? Well, I don't know. That's how Mama taught me how to do it. We go back to Mama. Well, that's how my Mama taught me to do it. We get to Granny, all the way down to Great Granny say, well, shoot, I ain't have a pan big enough to hold the meat. That's why we was cutting it off here and cutting it off there.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that story before.
So I think it just goes to show that with so many things just being passed down without any form of definition or I guess, reckoning or an understanding on why it leaves a lot of people, especially when you get, I would say, probably my age and below.
So you're saying somewhere in there, those middle generations drop the ball, they get lazy?
Well, there's also that same generation where you're going to do what I say. I don't have to give you an explanation either.
I get that.
So that oftentimes happens with those that, I'm 40. I still can't ask my mother why on certain questions. You know?
But you know what? When it comes to tithes, one thing that I've noticed, the preachers and pastors that do have those conversations with or those sermons, that's basically on the topic of tithing and giving, they're very reluctant to do it because they get so much backlash about it.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as a pastor bring up money, it's like, oh, you need a new Bentley, and then they lose,
Exactly.
and people just kind of check out. So they don't like to talk about it. They avoid it. I don't think this is the best way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think, and I commend the pastors who, take it head on and say, hey, look, this is a part of what being a Christian is about. At the end of the day, I understand that church is, it is where we get fed as far as for religion, but or for our spirituality. I don't really want to go and say religion more than spirituality. That's how we cultivate our relationship with God. But that's also where we learn. We have to learn the principles behind what we're doing.
And one of the principles that he has set for us is to learn how to be a good steward. Be a good steward over what it is that he's given you, but it's also something that comes behind being a good steward. And one of those principles is the principle of tithing. So I heard what you said when you said, okay, so, grandma been doing it this way, mom been doing it this way, so now I'm going to do it this way right here too, because that's what I've been taught. But at the end of the day, at some point you have your own mind. You know how to pick up a book and read, right?
Absolutely.
If you go to school, your parents can't go to school with you.
Right.
You have to do that work on your own. Here's the Bible. There's over 100 scriptures in the Bible that talks about tithing and the importance of tithing and why you should tithe. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So at that point, when you feel like, okay, I don't want to do what mom or grandma did anymore, I want to find out why I need to do it for myself, because at the end of the day, your mom can't go on your bank account and take your money and give it to the church. You have to do it, right? So you read the Bible and you get it for yourself, and now once you gain that understanding, you know why it's important to tithe. You understand what I'm saying?
So we said we was going to look at the definition, I guess, in between tithing and offering from a church state.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so important?
Okay, so tithing originated back in the book of Leviticus, okay? You are supposed to give it's called the law of Moses. You're supposed to give your tenth. Tithe means tenth, okay? So you give your 10% of your first fruit.
Look, and look,
You don't want 2 minutes to catch it.
and then I know to get a little technical, so look, I looked up one little short definition that dictionary.com gave, right? And they says the 10th part of agriculture, produce, or personal income set apart as an offering to God or for works of mercy, or the same amount regarded as an obligation or tax for the support of the church, priesthood, or the like. When I hear that, it sounds very cold to me.
It does sound very cold, but this is going to be very warm. When it says give your first fruits, right?
Here come the apples.
Here come the apples. So, God has blessed you to be able to use your hand, gave you good health, good mind, all of that.
Right.
And you are apple farm. You grow apples, right? Now say these apples right here are your first fruit. These are the first apples right here that came off of your apple tree.
For those who are only able to listen, she is strategically placing very red apples on a table.
Mm-hmm.
Here are 10 beautiful apples that came off of your tree, right? God blessed you to be able to do this. He gave you the know-how, the strength to be able to produce your fruit.
Correct.
He said that all I need is, out of your first fruit, is 10%. Let's say each one of these apples represent $10.
Mm-hmm.
You can have all that. I don't want nothing but this one right here.
How often do I have to give up the 1 apple?
Every time you get 10 apples, you get one more to him.
Okay. So this is every Sunday?
No, this does not have to be every
unless
Sunday.
you get paid every Friday.
If you get paid,
I get paid every week. So
if you get paid every week, then you give him. When I say, and this is the principle that I have, and Marley knows this. When I get paid, before I buy a Popeye's chicken sandwich, anything,
or Zaxby's if you prefer Zaxby's.
whatever you prefer, I give my 10%. I know I have done what God has asked me to do.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And also, you just can't give it just because I know I gotta pay my tithes, and that's what he want me to do. But Lord, I got something to do with that right there. I got something to do with this apple right here. I want it so bad. Because guess what? If you do this right here, now he don't want that either.
Right, he like,
You gave it, but you might as well have kept it.
Yeah.
Because God loves a cheerful giver.
Right.
attitude is everything.
So-
And my thing about tithing, right,
Mhm.
is that
Now,
what you have to realize is God don't need your money.
Right.
And we get caught up in the point that we think, and let's be real, there are a lot of leadership that are misappropriating funds. They are flat out stealing funds and all that other stuff. But you're giving it not based off of what's going to happen with it, but you're doing it because God commanded. And God don't need your money. What He need and what He wants is your obedience. And as long as you do that,
Okay.
you're
So people don't realize that there's also 4 different types of tithing.
good.
The tithe is the obedience. That's your obedience. When you say the difference between tithing and offering, offering is the second type of tithing. Offering is you giving because you're doing it out of generosity. You're trying to do more to help other people out.
Right.
And that's above your tithe.
Right. Then there's a tithing
Sacrificial.
of sacrificial tithing. Then there's also, it's called, excuse me, I might be saying it wrong. I might be saying it wrong, but that is the only type of tithe that is not unto God. That's what He wants you to do for people. Remember how you said, I do this, I might do this for this person.
Right,
or that
in
for that
reference
person.
to my tithing,
So
yeah.
even though it's not going to God, He still acknowledges that as tithing because you're doing something for His people.
Right. So let's break that down for half a minute. Because again, growing up in the church, and you know, we're going every Sunday. We on the choir board. We are the choir. That's the choir board. We're on the choir. We're on the usher board. We're on the choir.
We just in the choir.
Vacation Bible school every summer. We're doing everything else up under the sun. I'm probably today years old when you get to breaking down the different thoughts of what the tithing is. Me and I guess a few others that I guess had the same type of thought process is more so like, well, nah, Pastor look like he good over here. I walked to church when I was growing up, so to see Pastor drive by in his Benz and everything like that, and I'm steady walking back and forth, and I see this guy here on the corner, well, he look like he needs it a lot more than what Pastor does. I'm gonna give him my money. I guess now as an adult, knowing that it's not wrong, more so to say, in that entity, but growing up in the church, you never hear about these other facets that you can allow yourself to do it in this way, or that way. It's more so we're going to pass around this collection plate,
Right.
and it is what it is type flow. So why? Why is it such that stigma without it being so broadly spoken across the board, rather than just a monetary gesture?
I do have to be honest. When it comes to tithing, church is a business. Let's just go ahead on and call it out.
Good business, right?
Church is a business. So guess what? In order to keep those lights on, in order to keep the music playing,
Right.
and everybody, you got to pay the musicians. You know, you have to. A lot of the pastors, they don't work. You know, so you're pretty much paying, the church is paying them like a salary. Church is a business. Don't get it twisted. So when it comes to tithing, that's why they do talk about the monetary aspect of it a whole lot, like give, versus speaking about the other 3 areas of tithing that you can do. However, you do sometimes a lot of times have churches that say, hey, look, we getting ready to do a dinner, feed the homeless, this, that, and the third, and everybody sit in church and, oh, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna do that.
But
on
nobody
Saturday.
wants to jump on
But nobody
board.
want to jump on board. But you don't want to give your money, but you don't want to go serve the people no peas and rice either.
And I think that's one of the other issues I have in reference to not just more so the tithes and offerings, more so in reference to that whole background of where my money is going.
Right.
Yes, I can't question. When I give you my money, no different than when I get this guy in the corner my money. I can't tell him, they don't go buy no drugs, man. Like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you what to do with the money. However, when I give this money to this church, and I see a lot of our churches are almost like our HBCUs. They're all in black, poverty-stricken type neighborhoods. That's where the foundation or the cornerstone of our churches are. However, I never see those same cornerstone churches in the community.
Right.
However, everybody from the community goes to said church. We're all using that church as daycare. We're using that church for the vacation Bible school to give those kids something to do over the course of the summer. But I don't see the church in the community. I don't see what exactly that is going on. So that furthers the thought, well, where is my money going to?
So let me explain this to you as well,
Okay.
because there's a lot of people that are not aware of this. This is why you have treasurer of the church. You understand what I'm saying? Do you know that when you are a member of the church, at any given minute, you have the right to go and ask and see the accounting book?
As a member, anybody can do
As
that.
a member, because you are a member of that church.
Now, let me ask
Remember,
you a
the
question.
pastor doesn't run, the pastor, yeah, he gives the
He's-
sermon, but the people, the congregation that's the church.
Because don't most churches have at least that annual meeting
Yes,
that
you
churches,
have an annual
everybody's
meeting.
able to sit
Right.
in and find out what's the vision of the church, what's the church
However,
has
I
been.
think so many times often in our churches, though, it may be stated you can do this in the third. Everybody's not afforded that privilege.
Right.
Like,
So you think people are being denied access to this financial?
if they know they can do it. Again, I've never heard up
They
until
might not be,
today
they
years
might not be
old that
communicating it.
But they, of course, okay, well, let me go ahead and say this. Of course, they're not going to communicate that, because guess what? Everybody that gives their tithe and offering, they're going to want to see that book. You're going to have people lined up out of the pastor, out of the treasurer's door every week trying to look at this book because they want to see what's going on. And also, people are intimidated by it as well, because they feel like, oh, I don't want them to get mad at me because I'm questioning them to see if they really did go and buy that chicken for that when we fed those people,
Yeah.
you know, and they get
It can go a
intimidated
couple
by
of different
that.
ways, right? I can
So
see that.
I understand why you would say, okay, I want to see exactly where my money is going, but I just want you to know you have the right. And nobody can deny you from saying that. You're a member of that church. Your name is registered in their book on the roll, and you want to see, okay, what are we doing? When they have those annual meetings, it's important. Attend. Go see what's going
Annual,
on. Ask
quarterly,
questions.
ask questions. Because you might have just missed it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You might have just missed it. You might have had, they might have said it right before you got there. You know, it might not always make it to the bulletin. You might not always get the bulletin,
Right.
whatever the situation is. But that information is out there. But even if you never get that information, it's something that should be communicated.
Yes.
So if you're a part of a
Right.
church that you know you're giving to, and you see nothing being done, like even though I know I've never sat in an annual meeting for my church, but every week that I'm there, I know that they are letting me know what's been happening the week before. You know, I know when I come in there, the lights are on. I see that it's places for us to sit. I see that it's envelopes there. I see that it's all kinds of
Right,
stuff.
right.
I know that missions
And
go
also
on because of
working and
announcements.
seeing what's going on.
Exactly.
When you do the gas card giveaway, like at our church, they do the
Gas
gas card
cards,
giveaways and stuff. When they're doing all of this type of stuff, are you signing up to help volunteer? And then when you actually see the people come through that are being blessed off of what it is that the
That you
church is
gave,
doing.
yeah.
And then when you look and you see that they're giving out $20-$25 gas cards, and you know for the time you've been there, you saw about 300 cards come
Right.
through. Now you can just add that
you
up
can
right
do the
there and
math.
say, oh,
we at
snap.
7,500
Right.
right now.
And again, we get ready to feed the people on Saturday too.
Right. So wait, well, let me ask you this. So, you know, what if you at a church right now, for those people that, if you at a church right now and you don't see nothing happening, all you see is they steady asking for you to give, but you see nothing that is going into the community, not even the church. How many churches we grew up in with the building fund and they never put a new light bulb in the
I've
church?
been in a church
Man.
like that. I was in a church like that before I came out here, right before I came from Virginia.
And it was like, where's the money going?
And you were like, where's the money going?
Mhm.
However, I still did what I had to do
Mm-hmm.
and pay my tithe, my offering, and all of that, because it wasn't for the church, it was for me. And I saw where it brought me from.
I think that's one of the, I won't
That's
say
the thing.
one of the hardest things, but probably one of the biggest hurdles that one would have to hurdle, I guess more so to say, in reference to what I'm doing with my money, what you're telling me you're doing with my money, and my faith and belief at the end of the day.
Right.
Because if I'm giving you my money and you're telling me you're doing A, B, C, and D, and I don't see A, B, C, and D happening, naturally it's like, well, where's my, well, I'm going to hold my money because you're not doing what you're supposed
You're
to
going to
do.
have questions.
Yeah.
And rather than just, well, I'm going to just go ahead and give my money and I'm going to have this faith on this end over here that it's going to work out for me.
Yeah,
Right.
because I think that's that difference between religion and relationship, right?
Mhm.
Because just like to your point, Javon, if I'm giving it and I don't see nothing that the church is doing with it, because I'm in relationship with God and I'm giving with the right heart posture,
Right.
and I'm trusting and believing that me doing what God told me to do, and I'm doing it with the, not with the guise of, well, I'm doing this just to shut up somebody, or I'm doing this because, well, that's what they said I got to do, whatever.
Right.
I'm not trying to go to hell, because you have people that just do certain things just because they think it will keep them out of hell. First of all, full disclosure, tithes will not keep you out of hell. Okay, you can't buy your way out of hell.
Say it one more time.
Right.
For people in the back.
Right.
Well, I was
Tithes
2 years
will not
old
keep
when I
you
heard
out
that
of
part too. 'Cause I definitely thought it would get me to the front gate.
No, sir.
My giving to others and me being just a great humanitarian across the land,
Yeah.
I definitely thought would get me a lot further than you did good. Like, I was thinking a little bit further than that.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
it really is about your heart, and I think that's the common misconception about God, is that He wants your money. He want to punish. He wants all these things. When really all He wants is you to love Him. He wants you to know Him. He wants to be in relationship with you. And believe it or not, it is God's nature to bless you.
Yes.
That's what He wants to do.
Yes.
But He cannot bless you unless you're doing things that are in line with His will. Like, we can't do our will and expect God to bless us.
No.
And you have people that give and then do things, do all kinds of things that's against God's will, and they will give and then expect God to say yes to everything that
So
that they
let
want.
me jump in on that. So you said, okay, it's about, you go through a point where you see them you're giving your money, you don't see them doing what they're doing with the money, and then it's a point where, okay, I have to have faith and belief in God. Well, in the book of Mark, he talks about the faithful giver. So like Marley was saying, to piggyback off of what you're saying, you have people out here that millionaires that as soon as they want to, especially when it's almost time to pay the tax people, they love to give all this stuff away.
Right.
And they like to gloat about it, and no, you get a car and you get a car, and I did this and I gave $1 million to this church right here and this, that, and the third. Well, God doesn't even honor that.
Oh, these are write-offs.
He doesn't honor that. You know why? Because He's not going to honor the rich man that's going to give in abundance. He's going to honor the faithful giver, like He did in the book of Mark. There was a woman that came through, and all she had was 2 coins, and they totaled up to equal 1 penny. But that's all she had. And when she gave everything. She gave what she had, versus the rich man that came and gave in abundance just because he had it. He honored her before He honored him, because you did it for show. She did it because she really had faith and belief in me, and she's looking for a blessing from what she's given.
Based off of her belief.
Based off of her belief.
And God is after your heart, your belief. And a lot of things, and one of my favorite pastors, Pastor Mike, put it this way, your treasure is where your heart is, and that's what God wants. You know what I'm saying? The things that we treasure, which we treasure our money, we work for it. You know what I'm saying? We treasure it. So if he wants your heart, and He knows that if you are giving from your heart, your treasure, you know what I'm saying, and you're doing it out of faith, you're doing it out of belief, and out of cultivating a relationship with Him, versus, oh, I'll do this to manipulate God or even the church. I'll do this, and this will buy me favor. No, that's not what favor is. Unmerited, it's unearned, and it's undeserved. That's just God's gift to us, but we have to receive it based on our heart. You know what I'm saying? So when we think that we're doing God a favor by giving, you know what I'm saying, it's not that. He wants to be able to bless you.
He owns everything.
Yeah.
Right.
He owns everything.
He wants
None
to be
of
able
us
to
would
bless
be
you.
here if it wasn't for Him. Guess what? The best way for me to put it, when you have somebody to say, what you mean God owned everything, this, that, and the third, and this. Who in the world do you think can take a body of, the earth is built up of more water than land. How in the world can a man, any of us, man or woman, take and make sure that the ocean will come all the way up to the tip of the sand and flush back out so it don't drown us? Who in the world did that? Everything that's on this land, He put it up here. Who in the world did a man ain't get up there and put these trees all the way up in the air and all this other kind of stuff? You understand what I'm saying? It's so hard to explain, and this is a very, very sensitive topic, especially for me, because I was you. Not giving these people my money.
Let's talk about that. Like, yeah.
I'm not giving you nothing.
Now, why were you like that?
I'm struggling.
Why were you like that?
I'm getting ready to give. I'm getting ready to give my
Because
story.
listen, for a good while. Oh yeah, that was
Get ready to
it.
give my story.
So before you jump into it, Miss Javon, I'll be very honest. It was paycheck to paycheck.
I'm getting ready to tell you.
It was, like I said, walking back and forth. The putt-putts are breaking down faithfully. I don't have it to do. I'm borrowing money from my mother. My mother's leaving yellow posting up, sticking notes on my door I know you got paid because I got paid. Where's my money? You know?
Yeah.
I'm going through the motions. I will honestly say, as soon as I started to see some type of daylight, I'll be very honest. I won't say that I haven't stepped foot into a church, but as far as a faithful, religious, going individual, no, it's been years. In reference to, I guess, in verses, oh, listen, I rock with you all. You all right? You good? You need? Boom, here. No, I don't need it back. I'm good. I know where I've come from. I know what struggles and trials and tribulations I've had along the way. This is just money to me now. No, you good. There's guys on the corner now. We're not going to just give it to every person on the corner. And I'm not here to help every friend in need. But if I feel and it's just moved at that moment to do so, then oh yeah, here. You know, I'm like, I've come from here a good ways up. So I just haven't done it in church.
Right.
That's the only thing.
Okay, and so it's nothing wrong with you not doing it in church. But just understand this. He's still covering you, and he's still waiting for you. You understand what I'm saying? God is a good God. He has a lot of grace and mercy. He's gonna wait for you. One way or another, you're gonna come to him, and you're gonna be obedient to his word. Now, the reason why I said that this is such a sensitive topic to me is because like I said, I was you. I'm not giving you my money. I'm a single mother. My daughter's father just left me, and she's only 3 weeks old. I'm out here in the line. I got to get this Section 8. I got to go down here and get this Medicaid. I got to go down here and get these food stamps. I'm walking to work, strolling my daughter to the daycare, while people are riding past that I know at a church that I went to, not stopping to help. I'm not giving nobody nothing. For a long time, my heart was so cold. I didn't go to church. I strayed away from church. Guess what? One night, it felt like somebody just had all kind of, was just stabbing me or something, and I could not sleep. That's when I knew I had to let it go. Remember we talked about earlier, church hurt and all that kind of stuff. See, all this stuff tie hand in hand. You understand what I'm saying? So at that point, I got with a church. Still won't give me no money, but I was being fed the word. Remember I told you, if you go to school and read a book, eventually if you read the book, you're going to learn something. I started reading the book, and I started reading up on tithing myself. I heard the pastor preaching about it. I hear you, sir, but let me see what these people say. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm giving a little bit. I ain't giving 10, but I'm giving more than what I was giving. Then I gradually got up to giving 10%. Still on Section 8, still riding the bus. Still got my food stamps and all that. Still rocking with my baby. But I ain't really realizing that, oh, snap. The people just sent me a letter in the mail and say, Miss Neal, you make too much money. You got to come up off of this assistance. Let me keep on putting, come on, give him some more of these apples here. See what's going on. Mama called me one day on the phone. Oh, meet me down there at the bank. They having an enterprise having a car sale. Let's go see what we can find. Ain't asking nobody for nothing. Now me and my baby got some wheels. We ain't walking no more. Oh Lord, let me give him some more of these apples. This is getting good, you know.
Right.
This is getting good. Then we move up out the little Section 8 place. Oh Lord, let me give him some more. Let me give him some more. Growing stronger in my faith, because the more I'm reading the word, because I'm still trying to be fed and learn about this tithing, I'm learning about other stuff too. Now I'm not even realizing that the hurt and pain that I'm going through with life, through me just listening to him, reading the word, and I'm tithing, I'm seeing all of this stuff right here happening. Oh Lord, I thought I was going to be by myself for a minute. Oh, here come my husband. Pray for a good man. My last name Goodman now, by the way. You feel me? Come on, God. Come on, God. I'm still paying. Guess what? Now my husband. You said you do a lot of good things. My husband's a good man. He do a lot of good things for people. He hadn't stepped foot in church. He started coming with me. Now he paying his tithe and offering. We won't marry yet. But oh shit, it's coming. Oh shucks, it's coming. Now he paying his tithe and offering. Don't give me 2, Lord. Don't give me 1. Come on, give me 2. Cause now we doubling up on this thing. Oh snap, this getting good. Good jobs coming. Got a good job, all that kind of stuff. I'm making money. He blessing us with brand new cars and all that. Oh, you know what? Out here with y'all at, it's getting too small for y'all. It's time for me to get y'all around some people and move y'all on to Charlotte, North Carolina. Then you say you want to be homeowners. Come on, Lord, give me 2 more. Ooh, this getting good. This getting real good.
You get it.
You understand what I'm saying?
For our stories to be so, I won't say so alike. I'm not a mother, you know. I'm not pushing a stroller literally, physically down the block. But to see your path and what your tithing and offering and your faith and your religion and everything has done for you on this end. Mm-hmm. Not to say that I'm not good on this end, but it can be better. Mm-hmm. It can be greater. Mm-hmm. It will be better and greater. I'll say that before I say it can be. It will be. Mm-hmm. It's just we're going to have to come to, like you said, we're going to have to come to a reckoning, some type of thought process in reference to I can stop shooting him or her somebody when they messed up in their time of need and go. Sit on down in somebody's pew, and it's still called a pew now, right?
Why we're doing it?
Go sit down in somebody's pew.
We get right into spending the money the way we think it needs to be spent, and all of that. We missing the point.
So, but I think even in reference to that, though, I think, and I think that was one of the biggest reasons for the podcast, that liaison between the good church folks and the other folks. Mm-hmm. We need to have some type of, I guess, of understanding in reference to it. Sure, we can go Google it, we can get into the good book, and we can read and do this, that, and the third. But when that empty vessel comes into that good house, mm-hmm. and they're looking to be filled up, mm-hmm. instead of just a whole bunch of directions and instructions, a little bit more compassion and a giving of understanding, and so I can teach you about A, B, C, and D. You know. Because when you get on the internet and you start Googling everything else up under the sun about spirituality, religion, tithes, offerings, and everything else, that person can go down a real deep rabbit hole and not find his way back.
Because unfortunately, Google and all that stuff is just like a lot of the things that happen on media.
Right.
All the stuff that's controversial, that's negative, that's the stuff that's going to come up first. But let's be real, we really need to check ourselves, because that stuff is coming up first, because that's what we're looking for. That's what we're clicking on. So we have to consume the type of thing that's positive, that's informative, that's giving us the information from both sides, not just one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think we should want the information. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us just want to be okay with being cynics. We want to be okay, say they just a bunch of crooks. The preacher just gonna do this and that. But it's not about what the preacher gonna do. Right. It's about what God is going to do, what he's waiting very, very patiently to do in your life if you are obedient to him. That's what it's about. And so we just have to make sure we put in our scope on what's important and not the stuff that's not. Right? And then when I knew that Javon was the best person to have this conversation, one, because she's the one that broke it down to me years ago, right? I was one of those people that was a $5 giver. Then I turned it to a $10 giver. And you couldn't really tell me too much of nothing when I gave $20 the first time. And I was like, well, I'm a $20 giver. So
my first day giving $20. Man, I walked home with a ditty bop. I thought the sun was shining, the birds were singing.
What? You leave out like, yep, I got 20.
Right. I think I told some folks. Like, no.
Yeah. I gave 20.
I tithe and offer today.
He told me I tithed and offered today. I tithed and offered today.
Today. That's what I did.
Right, but I started working at the church. And then they was like, okay, well, they bring out you got to have a background check. Then they say, hey, when you working up here and you serving, we want to make sure you keeping God's commandments. And it was a thing I was saying, okay, you want to make sure you're paying 10%. And I was looking like, paying 10%? Wait, what's going to happen? Like, y'all ain't going to embarrass me if y'all find out that I'm the $20 giver, not the 10% giver, because I don't need them kind of problems. I'm from Detroit and they get loud in here. And so, so they was like, no, it's not like that going to happen. We just want to make sure, the covenant is with you and God. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And so in my mind, I'm like, well, so I can just stay a $20 giver. That's fine. And then one day, we had the conversation about how easy we go out to dinner. Mm-hmm. I'm a karaoke girl. So So it's nothing for me to get wings. I'm gonna sit there a few hours. So no matter how many sodas, iced teas, whatever my beverage is, wings, and don't have a cookie bar. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get into some of that, and next thing you know, my bill $50-$60 easy. Right. And I'm leaving out, no problem. It's not a problem. I don't got to talk to the manager, none of that. Right. But when it's come to give God $40-$50, then I need the receipts. I need to know, well, what's happening in the community. I need to know, well, where did you get your shoes? And how much you getting paid? Why?
Right.
Why?
So like a real serious question now. Mm-hmm. We won't keep up what God's word saying, give him his 10%. But we gonna make a way to pay that IRS. And they ask for 10.
And they can only put you in jail.
And they can only put you in jail.
And the funny thing is,
they can't even do nothing for you.
I say the funny thing is, even if they put you in jail, because I've had the conversation. Well, if Wesley Snipes can go to jail for 2 months or 2 years or for $2 million, I don't know y'all but a couple grand. Put me in this for the. Well, so you still got to pay the money. Well, no, I don't want to go to jail now.
And then you pay it, right?
I have to pay it. Yeah.
And they can't do, the IRS can't do anything for you.
Right.
But we do not want to give God 10%, and he can do it all.
He does it all. He does it all. And it's just, if you sit and think about it, and it made so much sense.
That's
when
crazy,
you know what I'm saying? It made so much sense. And then when I started doing it and started seeing how, I didn't get a whole bunch of money, but I was getting the same money I was saying when I was a $20 giver.
I couldn't do it.
But all of a sudden, you paying everything. And then I still had creditors calling me, all that stuff. But now none of that happens.
Right.
But it's not because I made a whole lot of money more. It's because I'm in God's favor and I can feel it.
I think that's one of the,
yes.
I think that's one of the things that I am willing and excited to see on the other end. Mm-hmm. I know for those who, D, I need to hold this, or D, can you do this? And it's like, all right, no worries. I've been there. I've dealt with it. Boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. And the peace that it gives you.
Yeah.
Not even more so the peace that I did something good for somebody. You start to realize, well, my own struggles don't seem as strugglish as they were before. Like you say, little things start happening. So, and I guess in that thought process, I'm like, what, a 3% giver? I'm not at the whole 10 because I'm only doing it this way.
Yeah.
25 because you said it's 4. So I'm on this portion of it. I got to get to the other 3.
No, it's still 10%. It's still 10%. Offering is normally 5%, and the other 2 are free. It's just your heart.
Now see, I didn't hear that. Now say that again.
Now don't be trying to skip the first one. I just want to give my heart. It's the fact that she said, I'm like, because for a day in February, all you hear is 10%, 10%, 10%. You just do another number out there.
Offering is normally 5%. Have you ever
that's
went to a church?
Tithes.
That's above. That's you giving an.
Oh, so the tithes is 10 to offer. Okay,
the tithes is your obedience.
Okay, never mind.
As long
I thought I heard.
Let's just start here. Let's just start with the obedience.
I thought I heard something else.
Let's just start with the obedience and then do the heart. And then as he works on you, then you can start doing the offering too if you want to. Okay? But please start on the obedience.
Yes.
And I would love for us to revisit this conversation. Once you really,
you got to give me some time.
I know.
You're not gonna put no clock on me. You're not gonna run my life. You're not gonna tell me how much time I need to go.
Well, I'll just check in with you and we'll find out how it went. So let me know. You know what? Just say how. Okay, I'm about to start. I'm about to just try it. I'm about to try it, and I challenge everybody to just try it. You know, you don't have nothing to lose but just trying it.
I think there's so many avenues to go. You got to find yourself a church. You got to make the church your home before you just or you can start.
I mean, that would be the ideal.
It's good to be covered.
Yeah, it's good to
find a church to be covered.
Yes.
However, you have some people that sit at home and they get the word off of TV ministries and stuff like that, and they pay their tithing into that particular ministry. Again, it doesn't matter where you're paying you're being obedient. You're being obedient unto God. You can send it all the way to Africa if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But guess what? He's honoring your obedience.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm not saying you got to put on a 3-piece suit and show up at church every Sunday.
Man.
You know.
But right, and then like she was saying, the whole world is virtual right now.
Yeah.
It is. You know
so
what?
It's a lot easier to find one.
I went to a customer's house the other day, and I'm out there to sell this man an HVAC unit. And as soon as I get there, Mr. Johnny, I can't forget his name. I'll say his name, Mr. Johnny.
Mr. Johnny.
That's Mr. Johnny. Mr. Johnny, I swear, we had to speak about his church up there in Greensboro for the first 15 minutes. We didn't even talk about his AC. It was all about his church, Mount Zion Baptist out there in Greensboro.
I think that isn't it like one of the biggest churches?
They a big boy church out there. Yeah. He done pulled up on the Google Zoom and everything and showed me his church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I heard somebody else was telling me about that church.
Mr. Johnny said, you come on out here. You come on sit with me at church. Mr. Johnny, let me get past this part right here first. But I might call Mr. Johnny up to see what's going on.
Yes, try it out.
Just to see something different. But it was the virtual thing that you were speaking on. He said they've made so much strides with just being virtual over the last year than what they've ever done as far as everybody coming to the sanctuary. I guess because of the convenience for so many people right now. So I think I might try to look it up. He speaks very highly.
Yeah, it's a lot of churches that's going
I've heard
church.
good things about his church.
Yeah, it was funny. My installer guy was almost tied to the conversation we was having earlier as far as your co-workers and your friends don't invite you to do this, then, and third. Well, my guy Jason, he's not a person of color, but he installs all of my units for me. Jason called me and said, "Hey, Mr. Johnny invited me to go to church with him. You coming with us?" He was like, "We got to go." I'm like, "Well, Jason, if you go, I'll go."
I feel
If
like
you
God
go, I'll
trying to
go.
tell you something.
We're gonna see. We're gonna have a conversation.
You have a conversation with God.
Right.
Right? Ask him, ask him to lead you to your church. It's that simple. It's not a whole bunch. You don't gotta light no candles. You don't gotta burn no sage. You don't gotta do none of that. All you gotta do is have a conversation. I know you like to talk.
I do.
The whole world know that. So talking to everybody else,
Right.
talking to God is the same thing. And just ask. And let's just see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? Let's see where it go. We won't put you on the clock, but we definitely gonna follow up because we know you're gonna be back, right? We know you coming back to TCW, so it don't even matter, right?
You done abbreviated it.
Oh, of course.
TCW.
You know, we know all right. We gonna get you back in bed.
TCW.
Javon, thank you so much for coming. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Did you
Thank
have
for
fun?
having me. I did.
You gonna come
I
back?
did.
Were you
I
nervous
will.
anymore? Like, did you break the nervousness you said you had?
Yeah, I did. We
I
broke
didn't see-
that when we were in the
I guess
you know.
because I didn't see any
that.
nervous. I didn't see.
Well, I
You
mean,
whipped them apples out.
That's what you
I
call
didn't see no
call
nervous.
being a natural. It's no problem, right? So we know when it comes to this tithe thing, and when it comes to the relationship with God altogether,
Right.
loving God can be easy. Trusting God can be hard. But I believe we can all get there one step at a time on this Christian walk. See you next time.
Walk with me, talk with me. What you know about God? Will He ride with me? Come and open my eyes for me. Hear my story. Show me more what's in store. And once more, listen, homie, can you walk with me? Talk with me. What you know about God? Will He ride with me? Come and open my eyes for me. Hear my story. Show me more what's in store. And once more, listen, homie, can you walk? Can you walk? Let's walk.